Hello everybody, this is General Yanis, and today in Guard Tactics I'm going to be reviewing the Plagueburst crawler with the speeders and the Volleygun. So it's a very good configuration as an anti-infantry, anti-meta right now assault tank. So we can have all these pesky troops from the other armies running away. With no further ado, let's get started. So today is the 3rd of August. I'm excited to start up a crusade again in the local game store. So we will be starting out with 25 power level lists, and I'm thinking to use basically what I used previously in the crusade: the Wretched Plaguecaster, 5 Plague Marines with a lot of extra weapons, juicy weapons, because you don't cost more power level, taking a lot of cleavers and stuff like that, the Foul Blightspawn and the Plagueburst Crawler, and trying out the Cow Spawn for the first time for 1 power level I had over. So I've just assembled my new Cow Spawn yesterday. I want to paint him a little bit before I go to the game. But focusing on today's review with let's say rise of the Drukhari, Admech, and soon the Ork codices with being very strong. We have seen that big blobs of one wound infantry seem to be in the meta, also the Battle Sisters, for example. So in this video, we'll be looking at the assault type Plagueburst crawler equipped with a plague speeders as a way to deal with the threat. I will be looking at the stats and weapons, some combos, the durability, and then how to use it in the anti-infantry assault close support role. So before I start, big thanks to my patrons, yeah, let's get started. So this is the Plagueburst crawler stats and the weapon stats. The Plagueburst crawler can cost between 165 and 175 points. The weapons, the standard weapon is the mortar, and then in the one slot for the sponson cannons, you can take the entropy cannons for 10 points more, so you get to 175 points, and this is your very strong anti-vehicle build with strength 8, AP -4, and damage D3 +3. This is basically our best anti-vehicle shooter, and I've made a review of in this configuration. But now in this video we'll be looking more at the other option, the 2 times the speeders. Each speeder is an assault D6 weapon, an auto hit weapon with a strength 6, AP -1, and damage 1. So you have 2 D6 attacks with the speeders in this configuration. Then in the secondary gun, the Slugger or the Volleygun. The Slugger is a heavy 4 weapon with 36-inch range, strength 5, AP -1, and 1 damage. This pairs well with the entropy cannons, having the same range, and you can shoot at the same time. And now the Volleygun is quite interesting as you come to the close range, because now it's a rapid fire 3 weapon with only 24-inch range, so doesn't fit very well with the entropy cannons if you want to stay back and shoot at long range. But 24-inch helps, let's say, in the close range. So we have a strength 6, AP -1, and damage 1 weapon. And the interesting thing is that at 12-inch, of course, at half range, you can double fire, so you have 6 shots at 12-inch. So we have and melee options for the Plagueburst crawler. Basically, it doesn't have any melee capabilities. It has four attacks with a 6+ weapon skill, strength 7. So nothing to write home about. 2 configurations spring to mind. As I said, long range support role, then the entropy cannon with a Slugger as a secondary weapon for 175 points. And as I said, I've made this review, and this is our best long-range unit together with the Contemptors with the Volkites. And then in the close range support or blocking role, we have the speeders and the Volleygun for 165 points. So in this configuration, we have the 12-inch range for the auto hit speeders. We have a fixed strength 6 of the speeders, and this is good versus nearly any infantry, because you auto hitting quite a lot of shots, and the toughness of infantry is lower than 6 typically. It's a good weapon to overwatch because you have the auto hit and there is no penalty shooting in point blank. Shooting the other weapons in point blank is -1 to hit, unfortunately, and the accuracy for the speeders does not degrade even if the Plagueburst Crawler gets wounded. The ballistic skill degrades, but the auto hit speeders don't care. The Volleygun, as I said, will fire 6 shots at 12 inch, is as a rapid fire weapon, and the mortar does not have a minimum range anymore. So this is good for close-up mode. If you play the Plagueburst Crawler up the field aggressively, you can still hit the mortar. You can also fire Overwatch with the mortar, so that's not bad. So looking at the Plagueburst Crawler's main weapons comparison and shooting at the maximum range for each of these cannons here, the blue line shows the damage output not point corrected for the Plagueburst Crawler mortar. So the Plagueburst Crawler mortar has a good baseline damage output versus nearly all type of targets. It has a high strength, strength 8, and you have a damage 2 type weapon, so you get quite good damage both for vehicles and elite infantry. Not so well suited for, let's say, for 1 wound infantry. You don't get so much damage, but the blast rule will help you if the opponent has more than 5 infantry in the squad. No line of sight required, of course, is also a big plus for the mortar. The entropy cannon with the orange line is a strong anti-vehicle weapon. This is the strongest in our codex. So here you can see versus like a gladiator or a predator or some tanks like that, you can do quite a lot of damage with the 2 entropy cannons. The D3+3 damage really helps scoring a lot of hits against the vehicles here. But the speeders, as we can see, the green line do best versus the infantry, especially infantry with 1 wounds like Battle Sisters or Harlequins or Gene Stealers or the Fire Warriors, the Skitarii, the Orks, etc., the Cultists, whatever infantry, the speeders are shining. But you have to, of course, to come to the 12-inch range to shoot them. Shooting at point blank, when we have a Plagueburst Crawler advancing towards enemy lines, it's quite probable that it will be charged and then will be locked into melee. The Plagueburst Crawler can still shoot in point blank in our own turn in the shooting phase, and the speeders are not negatively affected in point blank. We have an auto hit weapon. We just benefit basically from the -1 toughness contagion. So here the speeders become, let's say, a bit better than previously. The entropy cannons in the other configuration will be a bit lower because now we'll be hitting on 4+, or even worse if the Plagueburst Crawler is degraded. The mortar itself cannot be shot in point blank unless we use a stratagem and we are Poxmonger's company. So basically, as a blast weapon, we can't fire it in point blank. Looking at the secondary weapons, shooting not on it point blank, the Slugger is better than the Volleygun at long range and has quite a big range advantage. We have 4 shots versus 3, and we have 36-inch, the blue line here, versus the Volleygun 24-inch, the orange line. So basically, we can see the Slugger at the range is better than the Volleygun. But at close range, the Volleygun is the better choice, firing up to 6 shots rapid fire. As a rapid fire 3 weapon, we get the green line. So of course, if we intend to use the Plagueburst Crawler to come close and personal with the enemy, then the Volleygun is the better option because we will be having quite a lot of extra shots here, helping us to clear out this pesky infantry over here. So summarizing the weapon damage output, this is the average damage versus all the targets that you could see in the graph. The General Yanis 31 targets, and this is corrected to 100 points. So here we see the Plagueburst Crawler with the Entropy and Slugger for 175 points, and here we see the Plagueburst Crawler with Speeders and Volley for 165 points. And here I took the Myphitic Blighthauler and the Fetid Bloatron with Speeders as some other alternative units that could let's say, play the close range shooting and anti-infantry support role. We can see here at long range, of course, the Plagueburst Crawler with the Entropy and Slugger is the clear winner. When we come to the short range at 12-inch and the point blank, the Plagueburst Crawler with Speeders and Volley is the best option, most damage per 100 points. And we see it's better, of course, than the Plagueburst Crawler with Entropy and Slugger. It's also better than the Myphitic Blighthauler and the Furtive Bloodworm with the speeders, of course. But in melee, of course, the Plagueburst Crawler doesn't do so much damage. So if we combine the point blank and melee, some of the other units are better. But yeah, at short range and the point blank and the overwatching, etc., then the Plagueburst Crawler with the speeders and volley is the best configuration. Looking at synergies with other Death Guard rules, abilities, and stratagems, the Plagueburst Crawler is not a core unit, of course, so we cannot benefit from a lot of the auras. We can't give it reroll to hit. We can't give it Arch Contaminator rerolls, etc. Basically, it's there on its own, unless we summon some demons. That still works and can give us some benefit for all our demon engines, but I guess that will probably go away with the Chaos Demon book will come out. And in the close support role, basically it doesn't need so much help with the speeders as an auto hit weapons. The stratagems that can be used for Plagueburst Crawlers, we have the Disgusting Force stratagem that is used good with the mortar, even in the close support role, and we are advancing the Plagueburst Crawler up the field. We can still use the mortar to shoot at any unit basically on the board, and we can use this stratagem to do damage 3 instead of damage 2 for the mortar, and we can deal mortal wounds on surrounding supportive units. The Bilious Blood Rush stratagem from Poxmonger's Plague Company, if we have that as Poxmongers, it can allow Demon Engine unit to attack with the blast weapons against the enemies within engagement range, and they are +1 to hit for example the Volleygun. So this is very interesting for a Plagueburst Crawler, especially with this let's say in a close range support role where it will be close to the enemy. For a Plagueburst Crawler in combat, that's a really strong stratagem here. We can make the Plagueburst Crawler auto detonate, and then we have the Ferric Miasma stratagem as in the Inexorable Plague Company, which can give -2 to the opponent's charge roll made against this Inexorable unit. It could be if somebody is trying to tie down our Plagueburst Crawler and they are quite far away, we can use this to make it even more difficult for the opponent to charge us. In contagions and relics that can benefit, the Plagueburst Crawler, of course, like any unit, will be benefiting from enemy units being in contagion range, giving the opponent -1 toughness. But again, the strength 6 speeders probably can still be wounding on 3+ and 2+ versus most of the infantry that will be the likely targets for this build. It can also benefit from the Inexorable Plague Company, the Contagion, the Ferric Blight, shooting at the targets with additional AP. Getting 1 more AP will be really helpful for both the mortar, the speeders, and the Volleygun. The speeders and Volleygun only have AP -1, and the mortar has AP -2. So getting AP -3 and 2 here would greatly benefit in this role. So having a character carrying the Ferric Blight and maybe flash outbreaking into the Plagueburst Crawler can be really increase the damage output of the Plagueburst Crawler with the speeders and the Volleygun. The Ironclad Furnace Relic from the Poxmonger's Plague Company can give 4+ invul to one unit selected by the character. This, of course, can also be useful in close support role. So if we have a character close by following the advancing Plagueburst Crawler, we can give it a 4+ invul, so it can also handle more of the anti-vehicle shots that will probably be targeting it. In the Inexorable Plague Company, we have the Lichspore Casket Relic, and when the character kills an enemy model, one Inexorable vehicle can regain 1 lost wound to maximum 3 wounds per phase. That could be a strong build for a supportive character following the advancing Plagueburst Crawler again. Looking at the durability of the Plagueburst Crawler, the Plagueburst Crawler is our most durable unit apart from Mortarion, and also the most durable vehicle that we have. Here is the Plagueburst Crawler compared to, let's say, Chaos Predator. That's not very durable, and here we have the other demon engines, and we have a lot of the engines here that don't have invul saves. But the Plagueburst Scroller with his toughness 8, 5+ invul save and disgusting resilience is one of our most durable units. And if we look at expected damage, how many shots it takes to kill from various weapons, typical anti-infantry, anti-personnel weapons, the Plagueburst Scroller can take very high amounts of shots from low strength weapons before being taken out. Maybe a bit wounded, but nothing very. Yeah, it's really almost immune to small arms fire. But if we look at the anti-vehicle weaponry, of course, it can be damaged by things like plasma guns and las cannons and entropy cannons, etc. The most dangerous weapons for the Plagueburst Scroller are the Cognis las cannons, so watch out for the chicken walkers. Let's say 10 shots should take one Plagueburst Scroller out. The Dark Lances, the Melta, especially at half range, and the Entropy Cannons are also dangerous. We can, of course, improve the durability with the Miasma Pestilence, giving it -1 to be hit, for example, and as we saw, we could give it a 4+ invul save with the Poxmonger's Plague Company if we are making this build. So the close range support role and the battle group. So a Plagueburst Scroller for the close range support role should be equipped with the speeders and the Volleygun. It's basically a threat at 12-inch range. We need to get the speeders into range. So we need to play aggressively, move the Plagueburst Scroller forward to take out and tie down enemy infantry. It is probably inevitable in this role that the opponent can charge the Plagueburst Scroller and tie it down. However, we can overwatch with auto-hitting speeders, and the point-blank shooting is part of the plan. We can also have units behind our Plagueburst Scrollers that can come in and in turn charge the enemy in our own phase, let's say. We should, of course, as always, watch out for enemy anti-tank weaponry, as we saw, for example, the Cognis las cannons or Meltas in half range can be threatening even to the Plagueburst Scroller. The Mortar can be used to target any high-value target. Doesn't have to target, let's say, the infantry. It could be shooting at something on the other side of the board. Disgusting Force Stratagem is great to shoot at wound 3 targets and also dealing mortal wounds to supporting characters around those. The Plague Companies with most synergies, as we saw, is either the Inexorable or the Poxmongers. The IP +1 contagion is really strong, especially for the speeders and the Volleygun and the Mortar. The -2 to get charged stratagem can help the Plagueburst Scroller be more free, let's say, and the Leech Spore Casket Relic can heal the Plagueburst Scroller. So that can be a really strong build to make an Inexorable character with his relic carrying the contagion to follow the Plagueburst Scrollers in battle. Also, Poxmongers can be a strong build, taking the Ironclad relic to give one Plagueburst Scroller 4+ invul saves. And then we also have the stratagem to shoot everything in point blank with no penalties, giving +1 to hit. Basically, mainly the Mortar will be benefiting. We can shoot it into the, let's say, the surrounding infantry, Ork boys, or whatever is trying to tie down or destroy our Plagueburst Scroller. So some battle group ideas would involve some characters, some troops that are good in melee following the Plagueburst Scroller, following in the wake of the spearheading Plagueburst Scrollers. Maybe we can also add some Myphitic Blighhaulers to get some more anti-vehicle support. As we saw, the speeders are not very super strong against enemy vehicles. So we could have a group, for example, the Plagueburst Scroller with the speeders, the Daemon Prince with wings and the sword, and then depending on the Plague Company, the Warlord traits and relics here could be applicable. The Daemon Prince with wings can follow at the same pace as the Plagueburst Scrollers, let's say. Then it could be followed but be a bit slower Plague Marines, Chaos Spawn or Possessed, and those could take out charge and take out anything that tries to tie down the Plagueburst Scroller. The same with the Daemon Prince could also do that. and then a Myphitic Blighthauler may be following a bit behind to take out vehicles that stand in the way of this group. So, reaching to the summary and final thoughts, with the rise of many one-wound enemy infantry being in the meta, let's say, the close range support version of the Plagueburst Crawler with speeders and Volleygun can be an interesting tool in the death card arsenal. Play them aggressively, move them up in the field to come in range with the opponents and flame them and blast them with the mortar. And this can be also intimidating for the opponent that has to divert focus to take out the Plagueburst Crawler. Maybe he doesn't expect the Plagueburst Crawlers to move forward, expecting them to stay behind and shooting. In melee, as we saw, the Plagueburst Crawler cannot do much damage, but it can still shoot well in point blank with the speeders, taking out, at least clearing out infantry. In this close range support role, the Plagueburst Crawler, of course, benefits from its very high durability versus smaller arms fire. It's the most durable vehicle in our Death Card Codex. The Plague companies that offer the best synergies are, in my opinion, the Inexorable and the Poxmongers, as we saw, relics and traits and etc. Stratagems that can be used can increase the damage and the durability. And of course, combining the offensive use of Plagueburst Crawlers with supporting units like a Daemon Prince with wings comes to mind. Myphitic Blighhaulers that are equally fast for anti-vehicle shooting, and troops and other infantry following behind the Plagueburst Crawlers. So this concludes the video. What do you think about the Plagueburst Crawler with speeders and Volleygun? What do you think about this analysis? And yeah, if you like this video, please press like and leave some comments below on your own experiences. If you like to support my subscribe to the channel to get more Death Card and Warhammer 40k videos. If you want to support my efforts further, please visit my Patreon page, become a patron, and come with suggestions for upcoming videos and analysis you want to see. And with these words, General Yanis is signing out. Stay safe out there, and bye-bye.